If my pieces could be anywhere on the board, what square would they like to be on? What would be the ideal dream utopia position for all of my pieces? He wouldn't be calculating because he didn't know what his opponent was going to do. But what he would be doing is thinking in terms of long-term schemes. I'm sure many of you, and I myself am guilty of this, fall into the trap of thinking really hard on your move, but then when it's your opponent's move, you take a little nap, right? Or when it's your opponent's move, you just sort of disconnect, or you assume that because they're thinking, they must be in trouble. And so you think, oh yeah, I'm the greatest. But it's not always like that, right? Of course, you need to rest your brain. You need to relax. You need to get up and walk around. All of that is important. But when you have the mental energy to keep thinking, when it's your opponent's turn, you should be thinking not of tactics, not of combinations, but of plans, which is what this lecture is all about. Well, if this knight could be anywhere on the board, what is his dream position? Who can tell me? Best square for that knight. Yes?
C4.
What's your name?
Vlad.
Vlad. That's a good name for a chess player. Vlad is correct. Knight on c4 is beautiful. In fact, there's a special name for this. We call it an outpost. A square defended by your pawn that can never be chased away by any enemy pawns for the rest of the game. And who loves outposts? You can just call it out? Knights. Knights love outposts. They're the best. Because they don't have to move around a lot. They're perfectly good sitting on their iron throne in an outpost and just sort of lording over everyone in their vicinity. This knight would be awesome. White would never get rid of it. This bishop couldn't get there in a million years. Wrong color. And this knight, how many moves does it take a knight to go 2 squares diagonal? How many moves? 4 moves. So this knight is not anywhere near chasing away that knight. Cole?
I think G1 would be the best square.
Yeah, G1 would be bad, I agree. So then in that case, why do we care? Why didn't we just let black take us? Well, if we let black take us, this knight comes to c6, and then he's only 2 steps away. He develops to his best square. But if we take him, how many moves away is he now from his dream square? How many moves away? 4. 2 squares diagonal. 4 steps away. Not to mention, you said that if the bishop takes you, that you could then bring your queen to d3 and she'd be well placed. Yes, you're exactly right. The queen would be well placed on d3. But here she's even better placed on d3 because she has a target. And the knight would then have to move, or black would have to do something to defend that knight. Well, here is maybe the only mistake, or one of the only moves that I can remember that was severely criticized. I remember Garry Kasparov in his amazing books, My Great Predecessors. I think volume 2 is the volume with Botvinnik, and he criticizes this move. He also talks about others who criticized it. The move bishop to b2. It's like, as if this bishop wasn't enough of an overgrown pawn already, Botvinnik just wants to really drive the point home. He's like, dear pawns, I am one of you. I unite with you. I am Sir Bishop the pawn. And Sir Bishop the pawn is literally in a pawn chain with a bunch of pawns, right? Can't do anything. Why did he make that move? Well, it's also about the rook. He wants to get his rook into the game. And this bishop won't be terrible forever. If he wants to improve the bishop, what could he do? What would be a plan to improve this bishop in a couple of moves? Yes? Yeah, so we could maybe take here, maybe advance here, and you could see this line easily opening up for the bishop. But that move was criticized. I don't want to go into that too much because it's not relevant to the main theme of this lesson. And black did play queen to d7. And now, this is a very important moment in the game. Again, I want you to think about not only what you're trying to do, but what your opponent is trying to do. The move queen to d3 is where your queen wants to be. Central, supporting the e4 breakthrough that we're going to go for, and attacking the knight. It's an excellent square for